If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite. If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin. As always, I am here with the homie Kevin.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on with all of you?
And we have a special guest this evening. You may have heard of this man. You may have heard him on the podcast once or twice before in the past. He is the brilliant, the highly capable and favored.
Oh, yes.
Caleb has returned to the Superhero Homies podcast.
Surprise guest.
That was definitely somebody else's intro that he just gave me right there. But I'm definitely glad to be here. It is a surprise.
Surprise guest. Yeah. You
Surprise,
didn't see it
motherfuckers.
It was unannounced. Fuck yeah.
Here it is.
But you know, the trio, us three, we just came back from the theater. We just finished watching Birds of Prey.
Chirp, chirp.
Yes, and before we go too much further, we gotta go ahead and give the disclaimer. As always, the first portion of this podcast will be spoiler-free, so there will not be any kind of major spoilers in this first section. However, if you want those spoilers, just stick on to the second portion where everything will be spoiler-filled.
Yes, thank you, Quentin, always, for the reading of the rules.
They must be read.
They must be read.
Yes.
It is sacred.
Do not cite the text to me.
I was there when it was written.
I was there when it was written.
Hey, I wasn't citing the text, I was thinking of the text.
If you guys ever do a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe episode or a Narnia in general episode for the Patreon, hit me up.
We will. If we ever did that, we might need you because I
was about
haven't
to say,
seen
I
the
know
movies.
nothing about it, yeah.
I just know that one line is pretty badass, so I like it.
Right, yeah. Plus Liam Neeson, so that's about my extended knowledge.
When I was in school, I actually got straight A's for an entire semester so that my mom would buy me Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
I'm assuming that has something to do with
What
Chronicles
is
of
that?
Narnia.
It's the one right after that. Or actually, no. So it's Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe, Prince Caspian's after that, and then Voyage of the Dawn Treader is where Prince Caspian puts together this fleet and they sail to the edge of the world.
I remember that
We
one.
are going way off on a tangent very early.
I was about to say, like, this ADD energy right now.
Well, so
I
I mean,
didn't know that existed, so.
we said this first portion is spoiler free. So I mean, what do you guys expect?
Mild
Exactly.
spoilers for the Narnia saga, though.
There's one.
But not for Birds of Prey.
There's that one fan out there who's just like, damn it. They ruined it for me. Because, that series is how many years old now?
I think it's considerably older than any of us.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it.
But Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
We have just finished watching this movie. Gents, what are our super vague thoughts on the movie? Did we like it? Did we love it? Did we hate it? Where are we with this one?
So it's pretty close to what we were talking about actually on the podcast. If you guys listened, remember we did a preview episode for this one, guys, and we're kind of going back into that strut, if you will. I know for myself, at least. Excuse me. Let me only vote for the one I have authority over. It was pretty much what I had expected. It was a mixed bag for me. Mm-hmm. There are certain things I definitely need and want to compliment, not complicate. Oof, that was about to be the wrong thing. But there are, however, a few severe things that we gotta talk about. How about you, Caleb?
This is a momentous occasion, gentlemen.
Okay.
Because every single time I've been on here, I think this is my 6th appearance.
I think so.
It has been something that I absolutely love and gush over.
Okay.
And I fucking hated this movie.
Damn, man. I was trying to hold the bar, but
So
you said you were going to be the optimistic one.
I know. I take back everything I said in the car
Fuck,
on
man.
the way to the theater.
I was the optimistic one. Damn.
No, I'm not saying that it's without merit, because it definitely is, and we'll get into that. You know, it definitely has some merits and some strong parts, and we'll get into that. But
Okay.
Overall, yeah, it was one of the weaker DC films for me, and that is a tall order in my opinion. So,
I mean, I don't disagree with you. Is the sad thing, because we even joked about it in the middle of the movie. You know,
right?
Yeah, it. The bird fell.
Yeah, there was a couple of scenes where it was like you busted out laughing, but not for the reason you bust out laughing in a good way. It was like did that really just happen?
Did that just come across the screen?
Right.
What were your thoughts, Q?
I think in the Wild 20 events, I'm the most optimistic one on this movie. I liked it.
Are you joking?
No.
Oh, okay,
No.
cool. I didn't know. So okay.
I
Wow.
I liked it. I thought it was a decent flick. Yeah.
He looks serious, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He's not.
I was about to say he kind of does.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, like, yeah.
Caleb,
I thought
this
it
is
was,
gonna be a first for a few reasons. Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna be the negative voice on the podcast.
All
I was
right.
about to say I'm probably gonna be a negative voice. You know, parring right there with you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Fuck.
But to be fair, the positives that I do have, I think, are extensive positives. There, it's not like, oh, this was okay. There were aspects of the movie that I really did enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. But with that being said, we can go ahead and kind of get into the loose breakdown of this one. Where you guys want to start? With the characters?
Yeah, man, for sure. Let's start with let's just start with the big protagonist herself.
So obviously, Margot Robbie, she reprises her role as Harley Quinn for this movie, and I personally, I've always enjoyed her as Harley, even in Suicide Squad. I thought that she was really good. I thought that she, even in this one, also does a pretty good job of encapsulating what makes Harley, crazy, unpredictable, and I love the fact also that they didn't lean entirely into her being this just kind of chaotic force of good. She instead just wound up being a chaotic force, which I think is most appropriate.
Right.
Yeah. How'd you guys feel about her in this one?
I mean, I think that she's definitely interesting. I think I enjoyed her more in Suicide Squad than I did here. She definitely had some good moments in this, but a lot of them also kind of fell flat to me as well. On what you said, I did like her kind of more chaotic nature, whereas in Suicide Squad, she was, kind of more predictable.
Yeah.
But she definitely was a little more chaotic in this, and I liked that. Something about her accent in this one just dug at me. I don't know if it's because I'm super annoyed by like Boston accents. I know she's supposed to have a Brooklyn accent. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. She's supposed to have like a Brooklyn type accent, right?
The whole
Yeah.
excuse me, Mr. Jane.
Right, but it sounded more like Boston accent to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to hear them both side by side. Honestly, I've never paid enough attention.
And that is just the worst accent on the planet for me. If there's anybody in Boston that listens to this podcast, I'm just a guest here. My opinions are not reflective of the entire podcast. But I think that the Boston accent is awful.
So when it came to Harley in this movie, I'm not gonna vote whether I liked Suicide Squad's appearance or this appearance more, because I don't recall enough of Suicide Squad's appearance. I do know that the rendition of Harley that they kind of go with for both movies, however, never really struck home for me. I didn't really enjoy that vibe, and that is at that point more of a personal opinion than a critique on the movie. That being said, no, she held true to the character, and that's something I gotta compliment. There were a few moments that really made me cringe, for lack of better words, that really got under my skin and kind of made me, shift my chair a little bit, like, okay, stop, this is weird. Can I ask you guys an honest question?
Absolutely not.
Good. I'm gonna lie my ass off, because that's my job. There are a few moments whenever we see, well, excuse me, that might be more an appropriate question for the second half, so never mind. But they did something different with her in this movie. It was a hard shift, and I'm not sure I appreciated it. And then obviously, homies, we're going to hold to our promise, because I was not just about to forget and break it. We'll talk about that in the second half. But overall, you guys put it very well, you D&D nerds out there, because she was very just pure chaotic, you know, which was dope. Yeah.
And also with that, I'm going to go ahead and I guess kind of shoehorn this in. For those of you who maybe have been paying attention to this movie in the past few months or whatnot, you know that there were reshoots done, and those reshoots included one Chad Stahelski, who of course is most famous for directing the John Wick trilogy, former stuntman himself. He came in as the stunt coordinator for this movie, and his presence is strongly felt in a good way, at least for me.
Oh yeah. And dude, that's probably my biggest green flag, because his choreography in this movie, dude, that was cool. There was a lot of good stuff.
Absolutely. You can definitely feel where his fingerprints were inserted in this movie. And that for me was a really big ups, because I really enjoyed that guy's work. And the reason I mention that now is because a lot of that does go to Harley, which, by the way, I guess another thumb note really quick. This is a Harley Quinn movie. If there were any doubts in your mind, if maybe you guys were holding back any kind of speculation or whatnot, this movie is very much indeed a Harley Quinn movie that only features Birds of Prey.
Right. It definitely is. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
They should have reversed the names.
Right. They really should have.
Yeah.
It's a very long title. It may hold the record for longest movie title of the year, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we've only called it Birds of Prey. I'm not going to remember the whole fuck-ton title. But yeah, it's
The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
That's too many syllables. Apologize.
Now, on both of those points, though, I do think, I mean, and you guys talk about this a lot, about staying true to the integrity of the character. Hey. They did that, of course. I don't think that they did anything really in the movie that harmed the integrity of Harley Quinn's character or was out of the nature of the character.
I agree.
Also, the stunt coordination in this film was amazing. The fight choreography was amazing.
Yeah.
For me, I put the bottom line, and this is not an insult to the Arrowverse, right? But to me, if your choreography is not better than the Arrowverse, you don't need to be in a movie. You know, and you know, I'm more so talking about like once the Arrowverse was like 6 shows, not like back when Arrow was like season 2 and it was, you know, they were focused on that 100%. Not to get off on that tangent either, but yeah, I mean, I think your fight choreography has to be at a certain standard today because there's so many superhero movies out there. Yeah. And I think that this one nailed it. I mean, it stuck out every time that, you know, that it came up.
Yeah. And that's something for me that obviously goes a long way, I think, with all of us. Yeah. And it's not just having good fight choreography, because like you said, any movie can kind of have good fight choreography. It's the fact that they leaned into, well, okay, what does Harley do? Well, she's more of a gymnast type character who likes to swing a big fucking stick.
I was about to say, I'm not sure who her stunt double was, Margot Robbie's, for doing those actions and everything, or how much CG was involved in a lot of that scene, but it looked great. And you're right, dude. It was very, let me do a fucking cartwheel so I can kick this guy in the back of the head with a heel.
Yes. Yeah. And that's very much appreciated, because I need to see that from Harley Quinn in a Harley Quinn movie. If you're not kicking ass, being crazy, doing a lot of questionable bullshit, I am really going to question the integrity of this Harley Quinn. But no, I think that for the most part, Margot, I think she nailed it. There are kind of some red tape things behind the scenes that I want to talk about in the second half, which I think played a part and maybe a few of the detrimental parts of this movie. But I'm just going to put a pin in that for now. So obviously Harley is the star of this show, but we have other characters as well. Renee Montoya, anybody? Played by Rosie Perez.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, she was in the movie.
She was there. Yep.
It was like, to me, it was like watching someone try to reenact Lethal Weapon while reading from index cards. I thought she was atrocious. Complete train wreck. No redeeming qualities for me.
Q, I'm not gonna lie, brother. I did not enjoy her performance either. I mean, no, I got nothing. I'm sorry.
I'm not the actress.
Yeah. No. It's just like I know my job's not to completely dog on the movie, because I don't want to, for one, and it's not so horrible of an experience that needs that. But I don't know, man. There's just there wasn't really anything outstanding going on. You know, it's like slow clap. You know, good job. You made a movie. You know, at least when it comes to this character.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nothing that she did for me like stood out in comparison to who she was around, but I didn't think that she was necessarily bad. I thought that she was an interesting choice for Renee Montoya. Seeing that, I mean, this is no disrespect to Rosa Perez. This is the oldest incarnation of the character I've ever seen.
Right.
That's neither really here nor there.
No, I don't think she did a bad job. She was just very neutral for me. Like I didn't really feel much. I didn't feel this or that. I was just the whole time just flatline almost.
Yeah, same here.
I thought her dialogue made the Star Wars prequels seem like Shakespeare.
Oh fuck, man!
Like George Lucas was sitting at home, like, "Oh my God, this dialogue is atrocious." Yeah, it was rough. And
I mean, how long are you gonna talk like an '80s cop?
Right? Yeah, I mean, and they did at least laugh at it themselves. You know, they poked fun at it, but that made it almost worse for me because it's like, okay, so you realize that you wrote this terrible dialogue.
Yeah.
Just because you told me you know the problem doesn't make me feel better about the problem.
Right. If you were oblivious to it, I would feel a little bit better about it.
I mean, I'd probably still feel bad either way. Yeah.
And this might be another tangent too, but did we really forego having Poison Ivy so that we could have this character in this movie?
Yeah, so that that does kind of lead to what I was just kind of alluding to, and that is, of course, Margot Robbie is the executive producer of this movie. And originally, it was going to be a Gotham City Sirens movie, which that comic run, for those of you who read it, is centered on Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and Harley Quinn. It's about those three teaming up.
That would have been awesome.
Would have been great, but Margot forgo. She didn't want to go that route because she wanted to use maybe less popular characters to get them on the screen.
Why?
I mean, so I think that her reasoning was for. I think that her political reasoning was for. So that these characters can get the exposure that they need, but I personally feel like it was maybe to keep the spotlight on Harley, versus because if you have Poison Ivy and Catwoman in your movie, they're going to have they are going to share that screen with you.
I mean,
if that's
same. True, then fuck, man, that's some backhanded stuff.
Well, I mean, and the reason why I have my tinfoil hat on for that conspiracy theory is because. You have a Birds of Prey movie with no Babs. There's no spoiler. I guess spoiler? No, not really.
No,
there's
you can look this shit up. It's in the trailers and everything.
There's no Batgirl in this movie whatsoever, which is kind of a little bit of a slap in the face to Birds of Prey because I mean she's an integral part of it. I mean Huntress and Canary, yes, thank goodness they are here. Cassandra Cain, we're gonna talk about her in a little bit.
Right.
But not having Babs in it as well just kind of really made me think that...
Because that's one of the things we talked about. Guys, if you listened to the preview podcast, which we did about this movie, we talked about the Birds of Prey team, and we talked about, was Harley part of that team? And I cannot drive this home enough.
Yeah, to my recollection, I never recall a moment of her being in Birds of Prey.
And if you look at it, I mean, so... If the DC universe is going to cast a Poison Ivy, they need to nail it. They need to give that character a lot of room to breathe, a lot of backstory, a lot of dialogue.
Right.
Same thing goes with a Barbara Gordon. Same thing goes with a Catwoman. There's not a DC Catwoman yet.
No.
So all three of those, would have required a lot of screen time and things like that. So I think you're right. I mean, no one cares if Renee Montoya or a Huntress or somebody takes a back seat. Throughout the film,
right?
If you want a Black Canary story, there's tons of other places you can go readily available to you that other than this movie,
right?
Yeah, and you're not wrong.
Although moving on to another character, perfect seg by the way, Black Canary.
Yes,
I thought her actress actually did a pretty good job. Like she's actually one of the thumbs up for me in this movie.
Journey Smollett Bell.
There you go, Gazoon type.
Yeah, she's sort of around our age, kind of grew up with us because she was in the Cosby Show back in the day and Full House and a bunch of other things. So,
and I alluded to her brother on the preview podcast, just because it's always funny. Justice Smollett, anyone?
Never heard of that.
Never heard. Okay,
I've only heard of Juicy Smollett. That's the only one I've heard of. He's a French actor.
The French actor, he got in trouble recently.
Yeah, that's a Dave Chappelle reference.
Yes, it is.
Go watch Sticks and Stones if you haven't seen it.
Right.
Phenomenal stand-up. But no, you do bring up a good point because I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah.
For me, with her, so out of the actual Birds of Prey members, Huntress stood out to me the most, but I thought that what Journey had I thought that it was okay. I don't know, like
they went a different route with her character. Different than I anticipated, very much so.
Yeah. It was more the fact that for me, she kind of remained a flatline character more so than some of the others. It felt.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was believable to me. Was my thing. I don't feel like she took any actions that were just completely out of left field or completely unbelievable.
Right.
And we'll have to get more into that in the second half.
Yeah.
You brought up Huntress though, or did you want to add something?
No. I was gonna say one thing that I can appreciate, and we've talked about this a time or two, and maybe you might be able to argue that this isn't the movie for it, but I appreciate, and this is gonna sound barbaric, I just know, but I appreciate a little bit of my fictional storytelling still having some grounded aspects to it, and I appreciated her character because she did seem to have, maybe not an appearance, but in who her character was, a more grounded aspect to it. And I think that's what kind of like magnetized me to her. That and Journey just was also very hot. Yeah.
I mean, her character
I must compliment the actress.
She's definitely a positive for me, for sure.
Thank you for being in this movie, Journey.
Yeah.
Anyways. But yeah, man. So, Huntress, yeah.
So huge weak point in the film for me. I thought she was Ragnaroked.
Really?
I 100% thought she was Ragnarok. I thought that the integrity of the character was 100% compromised for laughs for the entire film.
Dude, that's almost a new curse word for the podcast.
It is.
You Ragnarok to the character? Like, fuck, man.
Yeah, you just straight Ragnarok then.
Oh, this is interesting because I wholeheartedly disagree.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Ooh, let me stoke the fire here. Why do you disagree?
Don't get me wrong, all of the actual Birds of Prey members got kind of a shit hand as far as their actual screen time.
They were given silver trophies.
Yeah. Oh, maybe even bronze.
Fuck.
Yeah. But as far as Huntress went, I think it was Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
That's just what I was looking at.
Yeah,
it was, yes.
Yeah. I actually thought that, like, for those actual snippets of her background, that shit was fucking spot on.
The background.
And I didn't expect that.
I think Caleb was talking about personality, though.
Yeah, even with the personality, she was the most fucking violent member on the team. And
well, that's her actions, though. He's talking about personality, where she was more
of socially inept compared to some of the others.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I will invoke the sacred name of Hush. You cannot go and read Hush and then tell me that is the character that's in this film.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I will back you up though, Q, because her actions and her backstory was actually really cool.
The backstory was cool.
The backstory is another thumbs up from me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna vote yes on that. So here's my political ballot. Over here,
I'm with you guys on the backstory.
Yes. All right, cool.
But who she was in the modern day to me did not reflect that at all.
Right.
And I just thought she was played for laughs, and the laughs weren't good. I mean, at least when in Ragnarok, I laughed at the jokes, and then later was like, maybe they shouldn't have done that. But in this, I was just sitting there, just like, really, they're gonna do this to my girl Huntress? I like the character of Huntress.
I think she would have been Ragnarok had she been maybe bumbling, or maybe if she, because the thing about
I can't say she was purely Ragnarok, not fully, because to be Ragnarok, you have to be a different fucking person completely. They got her backstory correct, as we all just agreed, So in that case, Ragnarok, maybe not. Maybe she got Ragnud, just partially.
There is another in-between movie that I just not coming to mind that I know it fits perfectly.
Oh dear! Please hit him up. Here's the home run. I'm tossing the pitch.
No, I can't.
It's a slow one.
I can't hit it.
Come on, man.
It's gone.
Cow, you bastard.
But no, don't get me wrong. Like, was she like the fucking Huntress, like you said, from Hush or from any of her notable arcs, absolutely not. With the exception of Harley, though, I can't stand for any of these characters.
I mean, I'm gonna go back to my Arrowverse.
Another problem? The movie was named after these. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not yet.
I'm gonna go back to my Arrowverse baseline. I feel like, and I'm not shitting on Arrowverse here. It is lowest common denominator of the current day of superhero storytelling. If their Huntress is vastly superior to yours, which I think she is, and she's not that great, then you have a problem, and that's how I felt about Huntress in this. I like I said, loved the backstory.
Yeah.
The way the backstory played out was fine. She wasn't actually there. This actress wasn't in it because it's a flashback. So
I will say this: what you just mentioned goes back to what you literally just said before, Caleb. You brought up your statement, and that further brings home a point that I was going to talk about here. Not in detail quite yet, but I'm just going to bring it up. Doesn't that kind of spell a problem, though, whenever the movie's named after the team, the Birds of Prey, and then stuff like that happens,
Right.
or stuff like what you just said, which is, well, all the characters were kind of treated that way, where all of them were put on the back burners. I didn't come for back burner mashed potatoes, lukewarm shit. I wanted, Anyways, further details to come.
Yeah, and that just goes to show that, it's a further symptom of a bigger problem, being that, superhero movies really love to focus on one person. They love to find their Roman Reigns or their John Cena and really have them piggyback the product, which rarely ever works in anything, but mostly here too.
It is what it is. We saw, I don't know if it's going to work in this one either. The parking lot was pretty empty tonight.
It was.
That was so sad.
I do want to take just a slight detour real quick to talk about that too, because when I realized that this movie was R, it was maybe just a couple weeks ago when it hit me that, this is going to be a rated R film. And
I didn't know until they said fuck like 10 seconds into the movie.
and while that is, I think that overall is great for Harley Quinn herself.
But it is bad for sales.
It's always bad for sales, especially if you consider that, at least from my perception, I think a large part of Harley's audience is maybe young girls who feel like they don't fit in with the norm. And unfortunately, like that fan base, that portion is going to have a hard time getting in to see this movie.
Yeah. However, and this is going to be me casting a vote. So there are going to be voices that disagree, and that's perfectly welcomed here, because, in my opinion, I wouldn't encourage those young women to come see this movie.
Right.
No, because this was a very different approach for Harley Quinn. This wasn't the feel-good kind of lift-you-up type thing where Harley Quinn is kind of interpreted to be. This was something different, more barbaric around the edges, It didn't have that message. It had something different. It didn't hit home for that vibe like you're talking about,
It's definitely not a positive message.
No, it's not.
We shit on Captain Marvel all you want. It has that empowerment moment in it that was pretty good, and it has that message.
And that's perfectly good, because that, to the right audience member, could be fucking uplifting,
Right.
To them, that could be, their Pulp Fiction breakfast scenes, like, oh, fuck yeah, this is just so great,
Right. I still recommend you go watch Wonder Woman instead, but yes.
Well, of course. Come on, that's just like, oh, you're going to settle for silver when there's gold right there? But I digress. No, don't worry. I'll give this one bronze and Wonder Woman silver. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you go.
That's better.
The gold is
that's better.
The gold is Captain America, First Avenger.
Oh, Jesus!
The original Wonder Woman.
Oh. No.
They're the same movie.
Yes, true. Yeah, no, they are the same movie, same plot points. Anyways.
Yeah. And I do have points to drive that home, but obviously it'd be unfair to share that right now.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Just recently, not to go too far, but there was a new Black label that came out. It was released in issues, and then they finally put it in full format, called Harleen. It's a new Black label about Harley Quinn.
Okay.
It's just more of a retelling of Mad Love. For those of you who remember that arc, it came out in the early '90s, and then they incorporated it in the animated TV series. It's more of an expanded take on that, which is her origin and kind of how she came to be who she is. And that's I feel like that movie maybe unintentionally took some cues from that to develop this Harley in certain manners. Yeah.
Okay, would you say, and this is purely just for my own curiosity, would you say that they kind of took that approach for this movie from the aspects of like an appearance? Like, do you think that the Harleen graphic novel has that same choice of appearance for Harley? Because she's changed aesthetically throughout the years, you know.
No, I was just say more so on tone, because that just got me thinking about like how
Gotcha.
Okay.
Since we're talking about the financials of the movie, and you mentioned her appearance, I am gonna make another reference here and say that they not so terribly pulled a Batman and Robin here, because a major selling point of this movie is to sell cosplay outfits. Literally, if you look at like the Funkos, there's like 9 Harley Funkos for this movie.
Well,
they're selling every outfit she wears in the film already at Hot Topic, so they're heavily marketing cosplay. Yeah, every single outfit. Yeah.
I love how you said Batman and Robin and not terribly in the same sentence. I don't think I ever hear that again.
Not as terribly, because that movie they made that movie to sell toys.
They did.
And I'm not saying that like the only merit of this film is that this is not a Batman and Robin like blunder. Okay, it's not nearly on that level. So let me just put that out there. But from that marketing standpoint, I don't, the box office might not be that great, but they're going to sell a shit ton of these cosplay outfits to the exact audience that you said, and maybe they won't even be able to go see the movie, but they will in fact show up at Dragon Con wearing Harley Quinn outfits.
They'll wear like the pink tank top and golden shiny overalls, or some. You made a jacket out of fucking pom poms or something. Outfits we saw in the trailers. Yeah,
that is a very astute point though that I didn't even think about.
I mean, me neither, dude. Because that is, fuck, man, that's backhanded too. Let's make a movie to make a movie. Why the fuck we gotta think about the post end game, right? But I mean, finances. That's
you don't see no
Thanos
cosplays out there.
I mean, we should. Well,
those are also hard. Fuck.
They are hard as fuck. Yeah, and to do it super. Oh, never mind.
There was a legit, super legit lifestyle, like to scale, like 8.5 foot tall one at the Dragon Con parade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's good.
I mean, he was menacing. It looked fantastic.
Okay.
I got a video of it somewhere.
Did he have the helicopter double side blade there?
That just seems like extra credit at that point.
He did. He did though.
Oh, he did.
What?
He had the helmet.
Yeah, A++.
He had the gauntlet, the weapon, and the helmet. Yeah.
Wow, that guy did it right. Shout out to you, guy.
Yeah, it was dope.
Shout out to everybody that survived that encounter. Shit.
Oh yeah.
So I think we should move on though to what I feel will be a hugely, maybe the biggest positive note.
Okay.
Please. I feel like I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I mean, shockingly, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask.
Yeah.
Every moment he was on the screen for me, I was like, I would be bored or whatever. I actually, just being completely honest, I nodded off for a couple minutes during this movie. But when he was on the screen, I was completely engrossed in the film and 100% invested in whatever he was doing. And I thought he was one of the best villains. Period, and a perfect Black Mask.
Oh yeah, and actually, I had similar thoughts about that because in previewing this movie, we actually had a lot of time exposing Roman and who he was, his hilarious fucking origin stories, and all that good glorious stuff. He was that dramatic, silver-spooned rich kid, and I dug that because Ewan McGregor really pulled it off super well. There's a few things I kind of scratched my head at, don't get me wrong, but nothing about that was because of Ewan. He was great. Again, one more thumbs up from me.
I've often wondered if Ewan McGregor is related to Conor McGregor, and then I realized I'm podcasting. So.
All right, go back. We gotta edit.
No, so.
Shout out to both of those guys.
Shout out to both those guys.
Yeah.
So heading into this movie, if I can be honest, I was really nervous about Black Mask.
I was just nervous in general. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And the reason being is that I fucking love Ewan McGregor. I think the man is brilliant, and I think that ultimately he can do no wrong. I was worried though that just because the snippets from the trailer paint him out to be this almost just flamboyant, a different type of psychopath than what I'm used to seeing Black Mask as.
He kind of looked that way. From the way that they kind of chose his costumes and stuff. Like, I could see where that thought process was coming in because they dressed him like such, you know. Luckily, I didn't feel like that was the case. Did you?
No, like, so once, because for me, a defining trait of Black Mask is literally being one of the few people that can go from 0 to 100 at the drop of a dime. And he did that. Like, I need to see Black Mask just snap and become so fucking angry that he sees red. And we do get that. And that at that moment, I breathed a huge sigh of relief because Ewan McGregor carried that terrifically.
Yeah, I wanted to see, you know, the mask because the trailers don't give it to me.
Yeah.
All right. I thought he was the epitome of that kind of chaotic, evil type character because, I mean, honestly, he's even more... I would go so far as to say that he's even more deranged than either of the Jokers that we've gotten. Even the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I think he's more deranged, ultimately. You know, and maybe that is because if you just met the guy and just had a conversation with him, it's like, oh yeah, he's like this, you know, energetic, flamboyant club owner, and then the next minute he's something I can't say because it's spoilery. But I mean, you know, he's doing some insanely sadistic shit.
Right.
Yeah, and not only that, but also I gotta give the movie a little bit of props also because they actually gave him screen time, and that's something that a lot of modern villains just don't get. So
yeah, no, that's true, man. I mean, they gave McGregor the attention he needed, and it paid off. You know, again, he was one of the good attributes of the movie for me.
Yeah, and you know, because it's like, how many times have we been on this podcast and said, man, like, this part was good, but the villain, man, they need to give him more. At this time, like, the villain actually had something. He had screen time, he had a presence, and like he had a motive. You could understand this motive. Don't get me wrong, he's not sympathetic. Not all villains need to be.
Right.
Thank goodness. But his motive, you understand it. You don't sympathize with it at all, but you understand it. And
I was glad for that.
Yeah.
For them not really playing him for sympathy at all. I mean,
right.
There's something to be said for that. I'm gonna make another reference and call out Voldemort. I know neither of you are like really big Harry Potter fans, but Voldemort, everybody fucking hates Voldemort. Like, no one likes Voldemort, you know? It's not one of those villains where, like, you know, we mentioned Thanos or Ultron or Loki.
Magneto.
Kilgrave.
Yeah, where people are like, oh man, you know, he's such a cool villain. Like, nobody thinks that about Voldemort. They're just like, man, you're just a piece of shit. And, like, this is that kind of villain.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's true.
I like Voldemort. I'm joking. I don't know enough about that guy.
It's like, well something new every day.
Yeah. Well, shit. All right. So one guy.
No, I mean, fuck. I'm talking out of turn. I don't know. Yeah.
He doesn't even have a nose, Kevin.
He doesn't have a nose. He doesn't smell shit.
Can't trust anyone with no nose.
I read the first book and I saw one movie, and I walked in on someone watching like a little bit of one of the last movies. I don't know if it was the first or second part because they split them like Hollywood does, and that's about it.
We're in danger of tangenting here.
Yeah.
We are. Excuse me. I was driving us past the gate.
I'm horrible about that tonight.
Chris Messina as Victor Zsasz.
Yeah. The look was dope.
I liked it. I mean, if we said it's the best live action Victor Zsasz, would that really be a statement? Because he was barely in the Dark Knight trilogy at all.
Yeah, I don't think he was better than the Gotham Zsasz.
I haven't seen Gotham, so I can't really.
Yeah, not on that level.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Gotham Zsasz, it definitely feels more comic booky and less, you know, grounded in reality. But I mean, if you're into that, then, or if you've seen it, then you understand what I'm talking about. But I mean, this Zsasz I thought was good.
Yeah.
I will say this though, I don't know if for this movie the pairing of Zsasz and Black Mask work, because you have just there's a lot of crazy going on there, and you don't want to cancel each other out.
So I don't think Zsasz works as a minion. I feel like Zsasz, at least in my experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're more familiar, of course, with the material, but I don't know. Zsasz doesn't ever seem sane enough to be a reliable minion, especially a right-hand go-to. You know,
dependable.
Exactly, the guy who hangs out with the big guy. You know, that never screams Zsasz to me, or at least with my short-hand experience. But right,
I'd have liked it if they played it where where Roman had something on him, maybe, and it was like a he's playing along type deal just till he can get out from under his thumb type deal. I think that maybe would have done the character some better justice. Not that I had a problem with the character, but I think that little aspect maybe would have done it, or maybe they do something like he really needs it for the money and they explain why or something like that.
Okay.
No, that would have been pretty cool too, I think. Yeah. I mean, but for what he was given, I thought that he was good. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of notes there for him. You know what I mean? Because he was just kind of like a go-to, you're my number one guy type deal. Cassandra Cain, played by Ella J. Basco.
Yeah. Give us a quick rundown, Q, of Cassandra Cain in the comics. But let's make a quick compare-contrast chart.
Yes. Father was a member of the League of Assassins, kidnapped and technically raped her mother, who was Lady Shiva in the comics, another assassin. She was raised by her father, David Cain, to be a mute, only communicates via body language. She's very good at reading body language. She took a long time in the series before she started speaking. She joined the Bat family, became Batgirl for a little while. She is a very, very skilled and trained ninja, basically. And she was supposed to be raised up to be Ra's al Ghul's bodyguard eventually, but didn't happen.
So, homies, take everything that Q said with a grain of salt when you go watch this movie later.
She's literally just a MacGuffin in this movie.
So, quick rundown and correct me.
Yes.
That's exactly all it is. They could have renamed her Sally Stalwart or some bullshit. She didn't have to carry the name Cassandra Cain, guys.
I mean, there you have it. I don't know what else to add to that.
That's why it's like, okay, break it down for me. Give me the truth. Give me the truth. Oh, how much of this was in here? Oh, none of these pieces were in here.
It was just interesting seeing that how almost meticulous they were with grabbing little bits of backstory for the other characters, things that you wouldn't expect them to include, like Janus Industries being the parent company of Sionis Industries. Like they brought that in. I didn't expect that. But that's how it is. It's interesting though. Out of all the little things they included, how with Cassandra Cain they just did it. There's nothing else really to say there. I mean, so okay, let's for a second, I guess, at least for the benefit of this podcast and for this movie, let's pretend that her name, like I said, was Sally Stalwart. How would you guys feel or think about the role of performance?
She was a good MacGuffin.
Right. I mean, she was fine. I mean, it's like if for her role in the story, she did it well, and there was a couple of moments where you wanted to cheer for her and things like that. Right. And she did a good job. But you hit the nail on the head. There's no reason for her to be named that. She could have she was an NPC. She could have just been some random character.
Yeah. There wasn't enough original content there for me to be truly entertained, I feel like,
Yeah.
And again, not that you have to be completely original or pull shit out your ass even. But there just wasn't it was vanilla for me.
And that kind of leads to kind of another problem, man. Like, because when you have such a roster of characters. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've all seen a movie or two. I'm pretty sure we all knew that there's just no fucking way they're going to give all these characters enough screen time.
Preach it.
Enough development. And it definitely shows with a lot of characters, but I don't think it shows with anyone more than Cassandra. Just kind of like a character. Kind of like we just did a podcast recently on character integrity. And oddly enough, and on that podcast,
we knew that was going to be ironic.
Yeah. It's like a foreboding storm cloud rolling over. But one thing that that we mentioned is how a lot of times these changes, yes, they're made for money, they're made for simplicity's sake, but oftentimes they're made because they assume the audience doesn't know or doesn't care. And I think that definitely applies to Cassandra here.
That, and I would even add in a healthy dose of simplicity's sake too, just to make it easy, lazy writing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And wherever you're listening to this episode, you can go and listen to that character integrity episode right after this.
Yes.
Thanks for the spot.
Yeah.
Because that's a fucking important episode.
Yes.
It's a great episode. It's probably in my top 10.
Fuck yeah.
Really nice
Some skin. Cross table skin.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Air high five.
Air high five.
Nice episode.
But I guess really quick, and then we can go to the spoiler field section. Let's go ahead and talk really quick about the what we talk about, the pacing, and the tone.
Okay, so I'm gonna add in a few more few points of interest here. Yeah. Actually, since I already kind of stumbled at one point of view, the whole movie, guys, comes from a point of view which shouldn't be surprising. Yeah, the tone of the movie. Again, kind of like I said earlier, I'm gonna kind of sing that song again here. It's for my opinion of things that I enjoy versus don't enjoy. This is kind of like one of those vibes I just don't get into, And I'll expose more on that here in a bit. But pacing was awkward, right? Like you could feel when pacing was do 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 do, and then all of a sudden we just got to do.
Yeah, the second act was filler to me.
No, that's entirely true.
Yeah.
The pacing for this movie in particular was really odd, and that's kind of mixed in with the method of storytelling used here. And while it's not particularly hard to follow, it is just an interesting choice to make.
Yeah. Like the overarching theme of the movie kind of conflicted with itself here, especially with like that storytelling method that they got, and that's something that you typically don't want to do in writing. That's like some basics 101 shit,
Yeah.
So why did we do it?
I don't want to go into spoiler territory here, but I think
please.
I feel like the sandwich is the beginning of the second act. And I think you can tune out from that point until the beginning of the third act and not lose anything.
No, I think you're right. To be completely honest, there's a lot that let me rephrase that. There's not a lot that really happens in the second act, but they fill it with a lot of stuff. I know that sounds like a contradiction, but once you see the movie, guys, you understand what I'm saying. It's almost like if you see a sentence that's full of stuff and there's a lot of things in that stuff, and then you get to the end of the sentence and you realize that you didn't need that sentence entirely at all. Like the sentence I just gave you.
Hey.
Yeah. That's kind of what the second act was like. It was filled with a lot of stuff, but none of it was really necessary.
Yeah, other than the Black Mask scenes, because that Ewan.
Yeah. And also, like, the movie is not that long. It's only like an hour and 46 minutes. In a world where most movies are easily 2 hours and some change.
Yeah. The length of the movie was interesting, and I have my own fun critique, a joke I want to make here later. And I want to see if you guys agree. But again, to be continued.
Yeah. But I guess with that being said, I also applaud movies. I like my movies lengthy because that means they get to tell the stories they want to tell. But I'm also a fan of saying whatever you got to say and getting the fuck out of there.
Right.
Yeah. And as far as the tone goes, I didn't have a problem with the tone. I thought it was very appropriate for an R-rated Harley Quinn movie with Black Mask as your villain.
Yeah.
The tone was very good. This may just be the kind of part of me that wants to see more R-rated movies. I would have liked to have seen them push it even more and I can talk specifics in the second half.
Oh, you trying to see them fuck? I see. I hear you.
No, that's not what I was. Not what I was getting at.
Trust me, homies. He gave me the look and the wink. That's what he's talking about.
I did not. And Bill Burr isn't even in this movie.
I was just about to make that joke. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not part of this episode.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
We can go ahead and give our final thoughts on this and give our scores.
Oh, real quick before final
yeah.
thoughts, just like a little half-point note here. I wasn't a fan of the music.
Oh no.
Nah, it was kind of predictable. Like some of the song choices actually made me cringe. It's like, okay, stop. I know what you're doing, and I do not fucking appreciate it. Okay, but anyways,
it was rough. I mean, it wasn't. I keep making references tonight. It was not Batman versus Superman soundtrack bad. I fucking hate the soundtrack in that movie. I feel like I feel like somebody is just playing it through a boombox right next to my face for the entire time. I'm like, is there dialogue in this movie? Because I cannot hear it over the music. But yeah, I mean the soundtrack. There was a couple times where I agree with you. I just like the song come on and I roll back.
exactly, because it's like, wait, we're doing this. You want me to take this seriously?
It was like Captain Marvel, where you just kind of cringe at some of the sound.
That's a
choices.
verb.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Ooh.
Oh shit. You know, the thing for me is like, even with Captain Marvel, it's like unless the soundtrack is god awful, I really don't even notice it. If you realize, like, I didn't even think to mention it for this portion. Yeah. Because like, unless it's like extremely good, I rarely even notice it.
I have a passion for that. You know, I was one of those nerdy little band kids, so I tend to have a soft ear for that.
If it's bad, I definitely notice it.
Yeah. If it's really good, I notice it too, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Right, absolutely.
Sing some praise, yeah, but
Pretty much
there was
anything Hans Zimmer has done, except
But you didn't like BBS.
except BBS. And
well, XL Junkie was also.
I like Junkie XL in other stuff because Deadpool, right? Didn't Junkie
I think
XL
he did. Yeah.
Deadpool's soundtrack is amazing, and Hans Zimmer to me is John Williams level GOAT. I mean,
and also I thought he said he was going to retire, and here he comes back again. Anyways,
well, Christopher Nolan's still making films.
Chris calls him up, bruh. No, you're not.
To be fair, though, I think he is done with superhero films. I don't think he's doing superhero films.
Okay,
but I hate that because I really just want an X-Men movie with a fucking Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
Oh, that's a good tall order.
Yeah, I just want like Magneto to start bending shit and just do that ta-ta. But we might just have to lay that over.
I was about to say, we always have Danny Elfman.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, Rogue One was
for an X-Men movie.
I mean, I like some Danny Elfman shit too. Don't get me wrong. Hans Zimmer, John Williams, fuck yeah to both of them. Danny kind of comes in third for me behind all that. I would always prefer the other two though. You know,
Depends on what he's doing for me, like what the movie is.
Okay.
He ripped me out of Rogue One. I didn't actually like that movie for years because the soundtrack was just god awful to me. But that's just because it's next to John Williams' amazing body of work. So
yeah, he did the prequels too, didn't he?
John Williams did all the main films.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We ready to go to final verdict and scores?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
All right.
All the energy behind that just there.
I'll go first on this. I hate going first on this. I will. I was
about to say, let's go alphabetical. That's fair. C.
And I never do, but I will.
I had to think about that. Like,
so this movie, I want you to imagine, if you will, close your eyes and imagine a vast ocean with a few like mountainous islands on that ocean, and on top of a few of those islands are Ewan McGregor, Black Canary, and excessive uses of the word fuck. And then everything else is just this vast, dark ocean that you can't see the bottom of.
Okay.
And that is my metaphor for this film. I'm going to give it a 5.5.
Actually, I had a slightly more forgiving number in mind. There are a few interesting point beats that happened really well for me. The choreography was the swan song of this movie, dude. There were action scenes that were, worth half the ticket price. And there was Ewan McGregor too, which was awesome. Again, I'm ecstatic to see him play a villain character. However, there were just enough plot point beats and whatever else fuck ton of stuff in the movie that just kind of deterred it away from me. Ultimately, the number I've been having since we got in the car to drive back home away from the theater was 6. Nothing more.
Yeah. I had a slightly more fun time with the movie than my cohorts here.
Yeah.
I thought that once again, Margot, I thought she did a really excellent job as the lead character in this movie. And once I unfortunately had to shut my brain up to this not really being a Birds of Prey movie, but this being a Harley Quinn movie, that switch made it a little bit more enjoyable for me. Ewan McGregor's Black Mask was overall magnificent. The action was phenomenal. I mean, it really was. Right. They not only just played to Harley and her strengths for what she does in the action movie, but also some of the other Birds of Prey as well. They did pretty good with, particularly Huntress. I have to give her another shout out because her gratuitous violence was well noted. With all that being said, I thought that the plot was, it was pretty streamlined. There was nothing extravagant or over the top. It's a fucking crazy Harley Quinn movie. It doesn't need to be. Overall, my score for this movie is a 7. And with that,
cool.
We can mosey on over to the spoiler-filled section.
So I have an idea for the break in between these guys, actually. Caleb, can you impersonate a Brooklyn and then a Boston accent for me?
I cannot do a proper Brooklyn accent, but I can point out the word in the film that set me off and triggered me was when she said taco.
You want to get some tacos?
Some tacos. And that shit. Yeah.
I have to compliment your shirt choice, by the way, for this movie, too, because that's been distracting me for half the episode.
Because
you got a Harley Quinn and an Obi-Wan Kenobi, a.k.a. Ewan McGregor reference. Yes. So, yeah.
True.
And
True.
I'm going to dare say a few fractional points of a Deadpool reference, too.
That is a Bob Ross Deadpool.
Yeah. It is a Bob Ross Deadpool. So,
yeah. And there's also a BB-8 and a Ghostbuster and an alien.
Fuck BB-8.
So. God damn. What did BB-8 do?
He existed. But yeah, man. So there we go. I still want to hear a Boston and Brooklyn accent now because you got me thinking about it. Like I feel like later on tonight you're gonna catch me YouTubing examples of Boston.
You will claw your ears out.
Probably. Yeah.
Kevin, did you park your car out here? You gotta move your car.
Okay, now which one are you doing?
That's Boston.
That's Boston.
Yeah,
okay.
I've lived in Brooklyn for a while. That hard I. I'm like at the end of all because all the words is like this. It's just that's
like
Boston.
It's like they open their mouth too much. It looks like, I'm guessing. Okay. Yeah.
Like Brooklyn, from like my recollection, was always more of a forceful sound at the beginning.
Okay.
And then like
they're working harder to project their voice almost.
Yeah. Watch The Departed. Matt Damon's character.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good example.
The entire fucking film.
Or Ben Affleck in real life for Boston.
Okay, there you go.
You know what's kind of weird about that? I've actually been to Boston, and that accent's not that prevalent there.
Nice.
Maybe not anymore.
These days, it's more like, kind of like more like uneducated folks. Like, I mean, of course, like younger people are, it's usually going to be more uneducated folks. If like older folks, a lot of like older people have the accent, but now it's kind of like comparative to like a really thick like redneck accent here would be like what you would hear.
Just making that joke in my mind, actually.
Yeah,
especially whenever we never mind. But again, no insult or injury at all to our Boston or Brooklyn homies out there,
or Trailer Park,
or.
It doesn't make me wonder because I think Chris Evans is from Boston. But like, what if Captain America came out of like cryo sleep with like a 1930s Boston accent?
He just comes out. They freeze him out of
Brooklyn.
They get him out of cryo, and he's just like, Anybody see my khakis?
Like, fuck, put him back under.
Freeze him up, freeze him.
We'll get somebody else to lead the fucking Avengers. Anyway.
What happened to that guy you guys found in the wreckage? Don't know. He didn't make it.
He didn't make it, yeah.
They burned the file. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, shit.
Nick Fury's having none of that
Right.
shit.
Robert Downey Jr. will play both characters. He will play Falcon in blackface as Captain America.
Did you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast about that? Thanks to Q, I got to hear that actually.
I actually don't think I have heard that, but I do want to state that Robert Downey Jr. is the only person who can wear blackface and is vastly unacceptable otherwise.
I can't explain it, but you're right.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was loud. My bad, guys. My bad. That just set me off.
Because I've been trying to piece it together, like, why is that? Like,
why? Yeah.
I love him in Tropic Thunder. Like, as a black man, I thought that was, like, the only other way to top that would be to get an actor as good as Robert Downey Jr., who's black, who's playing a white guy, who's playing a black guy. That's the only way that could have been topped.
I mean, he was a dude dressed up as a dude playing as another dude. You know, yeah.
Donald Glover could pull it off.
Donald Glover could pull that off, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, a black guy who's playing a white guy who's pretending to be a black guy, yeah.
I want to specifically see him playing Robert Downey Jr. Pretending to be Donald Glover.
Kirk Lazarus was the name of the actor who Robert Downey Jr. was. That's.
But no, I mean, I want to see him.
What the fuck, dude? You really do have some type of Asperger's thing going on.
He named a ridiculously obscure anime character earlier. I mean, like, ridiculously obscure.
Right? Like, the confines of the C-listers.
Spopovich is a fan favorite, alright, so y'all gonna put some respect.
He's not.
Alright, I think we've been in idle for...
Spoilers ahead.
Spoilers
if you're still
Welcome
here,
back, homies. You just came home from the theater, probably. Fuck yeah. What's going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome back, guys, one and all. Yeah, guys, so spoilers. Where we want to start with this one?
Dude, So, did anyone else catch Deadpool vibes whenever they tried to make whenever Margot made the movie about herself, and then when she broke fourth wall time and time again? I didn't need it. I mean, it didn't damage the movie, but again, for my own personal belief there, it's like, what the fuck you doing? Don't talk to me.
none of the fourth wall breaks did anything for me in this movie.
Okay, thank you. I'm not alone.
She was literally winking at the camera. I mean...
And that was honestly some of the more cringeworthy moments when it's like just such a fucking close up and you're just like, get the fuck away from me.
Right.
I just want to watch a movie. I don't need you staring at me.
Right.
Yeah. Because on the preview...
I was holding on to that. I had to vent.
Like on the preview, like I remember mentioning how... And it's funny because like, maybe my words coming back to haunt me, but I mentioned how like the best case scenario for this movie is that it ends up being DC's version of Deadpool.
We did talk about that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't realize.
I didn't mean like this though. I didn't mean in the sense of like fourth wall breaking, because Harley doesn't really need fourth wall breaking.
She doesn't, and she doesn't have it.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
they still got Lobo.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Lobo can do literally what the fuck. If Lobo wants to drive out into your literal theater, he can fucking do it.
I'm okay with that.
Yes. Please somehow make Jason Momoa do that too.
Oh man, that's a good cast.
Yeah.
Right. He'd have to have his hair back though. Yeah.
But he still has his hair, doesn't he?
I saw a few pictures with him being bald.
He was bald in the Super Bowl ad.
That was just like a cat.
I thought it was.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. I of course. I
man,
football. Like
WB would be like, "What the fuck are you doing? We're filming Aquaman 2 here soon."
Yeah. If I was him and I really shaved my head and they came at me with that, I'd be like, "Well, you could just spend $15 million and CG hair onto me."
Actually, they're gonna do that anyway. They have to for the underwater scenes.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, I did kind of have to eat my words, like in that regard, from the preview cast saying how best case scenario it could be a Deadpoolish feel or tone or vibe. But man, they took it too far with the fourth wall breaking for me. Like that was just unnecessary.
Yeah. Yep.
Didn't really need it. And from that regard, I was speaking more from like the dark humor and gratuitous violence. Which I would say, especially with the violence, I think for me at least they landed with that.
I don't have much wrong with the violence actually, because that's
that's a fun sentence to just take out of context.
This is going to sound mildly sadistic of me.
Okay.
But I wanted more. I thought that it was not. I didn't think the violence was worthy of an R film. I mean,
I will say this: I wanted more violence from the actual Birds of Prey.
Right.
You guys realize 2/3 of the fucking movie was on Harley Quinn and her setting up the damn story.
Oh yeah.
And we only got like a little bit at the tail end of the actual Birds of Prey. And I know we're not ready to talk about that whole fuck up yet, but really, right?
And I mean,
come on.
I wanted to see Victor Zsasz do some like insane shit. I mean, they had the scene where he like peeled the people's faces off or whatever, but like you don't die immediately if somebody peels the skin off of your face. And like as soon as that happened, that was just a lifeless kind of mannequin thing there. That dude should have been like screaming and shit in the background or whatever. I feel like they toned it down. If you're gonna be bold and start peeling people's fucking faces off, then go that route. Make people uncomfortable, because both Black Mask and Zsasz, I think both of them should be like that level of sadistic to where you are uncomfortable. And I feel like maybe they held back.
I don't disagree with that. I didn't think about that, but I don't disagree with it.
Yeah, it was interesting because the director is Kathy Yan, I think.
Yep.
And I think that for the most part, she's a relatively new director. I don't think she's done.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
She did like an indie flick some time ago, a couple of years, I want to say. But
almost like maybe WB's attempt to go the Marvel route and get like more unknown people to start working on their movies. But
it worked for some of their stuff, I wouldn't give it this time.
Not that I'm going the whole woke progressive route, but I do think it was the right call getting a female director to kind of helm this movie.
No, same here.
No, I agree.
I just don't like the directions they chose.
Yeah, no, it seems like maybe this was maybe a little too ambitious, a little too big of a project for like your first big major outing like this.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't have had one of your main actresses producing the flick as well. Like I would have put an unbiased person in the producer's chair and said, Margot, get the fuck back. You're an actress, not the queen and actress of this movie. Because if your theory holds true, then that's all this was. That's not.
Yeah, and I mean, and that is on Warner Brothers, not on Kathy, if that is the case.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I do agree, because like there's in another universe, guys, we got Gotham City Sirens instead, or we got Birds of Prey with Barbara Gordon in it. Unfortunately, this time around we get Harley Quinn with some cameos from sidekicks.
You look at it right now, though. You look at the landscape of DC live action, right? The lineup, the triad or whatever, the triumvirate. It's not Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman like you would think. It's Aquaman, Harley Quinn, and Wonder Woman. Those are the money makers.
Yeah.
And then to a lesser extent you have Shazam, of course. You have
Shazam's
you have
trying to step up to the
Deadshot.
plate.
Yeah, I mean we assume Will Smith will eventually return as Deadshot, since they aren't going to do his character. They're not going to do Deadshot in Suicide Squad 2 for that reason.
Yeah.
There are some more characters out there, and then of course they have Batman coming up.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that's the main three money makers that they have. And if you look at it, they're scrapping a lot of their canon and kind of like we want to pick and choose what we want to take from that canon forward. And those
which is the wrong route to go.
I agree.
Well, yeah, I agree too. But this, on the other hand, this does give them to do something that has been done in DC Comics, and that is make somebody write Flashpoint. And so it's like we are going that route. With the Flash movie.
Let me ask you guys this: after tonight's project and after opening night, at least for us, and maybe we had some We do have some bad weather presently, and I know that won't really inflict anyone else around their home areas, but around ours tonight, weather might have held back people from wanting to come watch the movie because it was somewhat severe. However, do you guys think that this is going to be a project that keeps Harley Quinn or Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn in that triad chair?
I think they will blame it on the other characters. They will blame it on Birds of Prey being not historically a moneymaker or a success story.
By they, do you mean
Warner Brothers? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Margot, of course, because they're heavily invested in her as Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, I mean, like she is going to be in the Suicide Squad that's coming out next year, so she will return.
I mean, let's just think about it. So if we'd gone back 6-8 years ago, and I said, guys, there will be a DC cinematic universe, and they will drop their Joker directly off the face of the earth in favor of their Harley Quinn, you would have laughed at me.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you got a fair point. Yeah. That Universe Us is right now having a good kickback about them.
Yeah, they didn't even have Jared Leto cameo in this. Even the
flashback
not
even the flashbacks.
He was in. They cut him out.
Yeah, they cut him out. Yeah. They repurposed the film to cut him out.
They George Lucas his ass.
Yeah, which was super. They didn't want to pay Jared Leto shit.
Yeah,
goddamn.
Yeah,
I guess it's like a fuck you for doing Morbius. I don't know what this is. But let me ask you guys this, and I guess we could have did this in the spoiler-free section. Which did you enjoy more, Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey?
Both of them. So my biggest problem, I would say this movie, but the thing that keeps me from doing that is my biggest problem with Suicide Squad is the completely unnecessary scene where like all the random minions come out and they just have this big ass fight for no fucking reason.
Right.
And Birds of Prey has the same damn thing in it, so I can't do it. I have to go with Suicide Squad.
Birds of Prey had a couple of things like that. For one, I will answer your question. This is not deterring away from that because I have thoughts on that. But there was one random scene here where they did essentially something similar. The random ass scene where Harley Quinn was dressed up like Lady Gaga and they had like a short musical number for a fucking second. Like, what are you doing? You're wasting my time.
Right.
Like, give me a fucking movie. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
The whole red dress dancing around bullshit because you're tied up and I guess you're supposed to be crazy, so this is just a crazy thought. Fuck that.
Yeah, that was a colossal waste of screen time.
Yeah, it was very bad writing.
And that's I was gonna say, and that just kind of leads to, like, this movie was only an hour and 46 minutes long or whatever, and it's like you probably could have taken a solid 30 minutes out and still have gotten the complete story.
Yeah,
that does say something about the padding. But I'm just
to go back to your question, you're asking me to choose between a Whopper and a Big Mac, and I don't like either of those restaurants. No offense to those restaurants. That being said,
those sponsorships.
I know, right? Ooh,
you can get Wendy's. You still got Wendy's.
Okay.
Now Wendy's, I like.
Go pick you up a 4 for 4.
Yeah, get that 4 for 4.
Gotta get the 4 for 4. Spicy nuggies. Give us free stuff, Wendy's. Anywho, but nah, man. I mean, between the two, I don't really like either movie, honestly. But I gotta give it to Suicide Squad if I gotta pick between two evils, This one just didn't do it for me, For one, I feel like I was lied to, and that's not how you're gonna win me over. But
they told you that the last one was a Suicide Squad movie. It was Deadshot and Harley movie.
But it has that after credit scene, and that after credit scene is perfect.
They lied to you for the after credit scenes.
Yeah, it was still a lie. But this movie was more of a lie. It's like Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. This movie was Harley Quinn. No, you gotta wait. I'm not saying the rest of the movie name yet because we still have 2/3 of it to go. Oh, now the Birds of Prey. So
Harley Quinn and some caricatures of some obscure comic book characters.
Well put.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
that's a really long title too. So
it's about the same. I don't know. For me, it's about the same. Like, both movies had things I hated and things that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I can't really. Yeah, it's hard for me to really pick one that I enjoyed or disliked more than the other. It's about the same.
Let us know what you think, homies.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm looking at the movies like act by act, and I think that Suicide Squad maybe had a slightly stronger second act. I think the first acts for both movies were the best. And the third act for Suicide Squad didn't care for. They went the hero save the day arc.
Right.
And the third act for this one was messy, but it was less of a mess, I feel, than Suicide Squad as far as the conclusion goes. But as a whole, it's hard for me to pick one over the other.
The third act, I'd say, was better in Birds of Prey. You talked about the first act. I did want to bring up that opening in Birds of Prey, the little animated lead-in. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
Where they gave the brief backstory with her and Joker and everything. And it was like the animated. You saw her like falling into the pit, and they talked about her becoming a therapist and all that stuff. I thought that was great.
Was that animated?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember cartoons. Yeah. Huh. Wow. But yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. That part of the beginning I really did like, and then that did remind me of something else I wanted to touch on. Remember earlier I was talking about how if my vote is allowed to be heard for this certain subject, I would not encourage the young girls who look up to Harley to go see this movie. I absolutely would not. Like, if I had a friend of such nature, I would tell her, no, stay the fuck away, please. Because in the first part of this movie where we see Harley in the whole post-breakup bit, she's running around kind of doing a lot of weird shit, right? And it's like, that's not exactly encouraging. That's kind of a down spiral attitude, where she's like, fucking shit up at a bar and doing all kinds of weird stuff here and there, And I mean, you might call that a judgment call, whatever, but it's like, that shit's not healthy. No, don't look up to that.
With that mentality,
to the wrong mind.
I will say, with that mentality, you shouldn't be fans of Harley at all.
Right.
Because that's who she is.
Well, maybe that says something about me. But I mean, in this particular instance, it's just like, oh, let me go and fuck things up and drink a whole shit ton and hang out at this big old criminal club, and I don't know, man. It's just like if I there's other things that are Harley Quinn that I feel like would be pretty dope and awesome to partake of, but this one I don't know, man.
Okay, I feel like if you can listen to Billie Eilish songs, you can watch this movie.
Well, I don't listen to Billie Eilish songs, so again,
name a single one.
Yeah, no, there you go. There's my vote again.
That's for the young audience, though. If they listen to Billie Eilish, they can watch this movie.
I got a question.
Hopefully
for you
they don't.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
So she gets out of a super fucking toxic relationship.
Okay.
Pines for said super toxic relationship, and in order to comfort herself, resorts to violence and rampant alcoholism.
Right.
Is she the female Rick Sanchez?
God damn.
No.
No, because it's true, and no, because you don't want to say that it's true.
I mean, touche. I mean, you got me in the corner there. That's.
I mean, because I agree with you.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Unfortunately, that does kind of put me in a bias, doesn't it? Yeah, my bad.
No, I agree with you. I don't want it to be true either.
I mean, I don't want it to be, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'll watch Rick Sanchez and tell others, yeah, it's a fucking great show. But then I'll watch this and be like, no, fuck that. So, excuse me, that I suppose there's a bias there, which is not my job. So there you have it. Yeah. Damn it, Caleb. What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, I'm kind of on that same thing with you where I'm just like, God, you people should not fucking idolize Harley Quinn. But then I'll go watch Rick and Morty and be like, man, Rick Sanchez is so fucking cool. And he's just as toxic,
Yeah.
Well, hell, even in a lot of recent events, especially with the Joker, I mean, fucking people are pining over him. Like, empathizing with the Joker even. And I'm like, and for me, I'm like, that's a fucking...
That was not the point of the movie.
Fucking, yeah.
It's like for the audience members out there who like characters like Rick Sanchez or BoJack Horseman or something. It's like, these are not the good guys in these stories.
Or Heisenberg or
exactly.
I mean, there's the whole meme about, you're missing the point by idolizing them starter pack.
Actually, that summarizes the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least with Heisenberg, that they told
he
that
dies.
story.
Yeah.
well, no, that's not really the moment I'm referencing. Is in the finale, that scene at the table. He admits to Skylar. He said, I didn't do this for you. I did it for me, and I liked it. And he actually comes clean about it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I thought was so great about Heisenberg, is he actually admitted that he was full of shit. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I enjoyed it. I did it for me more than anybody. Yeah. And I mean, I thought that was what was, you know, I think that sets that character apart. Because you're never going to see a Harley or a Rick make that statement.
Actually, BoJack did something similar, which I really dug. Because I just finished watching the last season. Fuck yeah. Mm. But anyways.
I've never seen it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's on the list.
It just made the list. I want to talk. So this right here is a. I guess it is a negative point for the movie for me, but it's more of a purist mentality.
Okay.
And that being that for purely selfish reasons, I really wish they didn't kill Black Mask.
Dude, that was weird. It's like, why did we... First off... Well, never mind. Not the time to say that either.
I thought his death was epic, but I wish they kept him alive.
I do too. I loved the death scene, but it's also like...
It was also disconcerting, you know? But what were you about to say? It sounds like it might have been something different.
Well, no, while I personally... I would want them to keep him alive because I want to see more of the character.
Right.
But on the same note, I feel like his actions in the film justify the protagonist killing him. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
Especially the way that it happens.
Right. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, you still have no evidence on the man at the end of the day. Renee Montoya, she technically everything she did was off books, off record.
Right, illegal.
Yeah, you can't take him to jail.
Nope.
If you leave him alive, he's going to come back for you.
Yep.
So from that regard, I do understand why you kill him. But once again,
you couldn't Batman the situation.
From a purely selfish standpoint, like his biggest foe isn't Batman, it's Red Hood, and I just really, a part of me will always want to see that.
I mean, like earlier I said it was disconcerting. Like I was like, okay, I see the attempted value of what you guys are trying to do here with the whole like grenade pin kill. That was theatrical. But I don't know, man. It's like, fuck, was that Harley's kill? You know? Because I was like you. I was anticipating seeing more Black Mask potentially and seeing some other cool stuff there. But I guess not. Instead, we see bits and chunks given to, you know, Sharkman down there.
Yeah. Oh, King Shark got him. But yeah.
Alas. Here we go.
Yeah, so that was kind of a, like, damn it. Like, I get it, but I wish I didn't get it type vibe for me.
I hate that you said that shit, because now I want to see Jensen Ackles and Ewan McGregor go at it for 2 hours.
That would be great. That would.
Yeah.
They can always prequel that shit.
That's true. That's true. They can. They have to explain why then there's no Red Hood, you know, jumping around and how he makes it out of this alive.
Or Batman.
Well, they can just Flashpoint it.
Oh yeah.
You know, after Flashpoint,
that's true.
You know, Black Mask is back, and you can't ask any fucking questions.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what the comics did. You know, everything shifted.
Yeah.
Things are different.
You could literally do what Bryan Singer did to X-Men 2 and 3 and just say fuck them.
Yeah.
Barry Allen photo the timeline again.
Yeah. Oh man. So Cassandra Cain, the literal MacGuffin. Like, this is the most MacGuffin I've seen in a while. Like most MacGuffins try to disguise it, you know, but this one.
No, keep going. I'm counting how many times you said MacGuffin. It's fun to say, yeah.
Yeah. So if I ever go to McDonald's again, I want to get the McGuffin.
That's what they ate at the end of the movie.
Yeah. That's what they had. They ate a fucking MacGuffin.
Wow.
An egg McGuffin.
An egg McGuffin with greasy butter and bacon.
First we got Ego the Living Planet, now we got Cassandra the Living MacGuffin.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, she literally swallowed the entire premise of the movie.
You know, out of context, that sounds really dirty.
You know, that's the shitty thing about podcasting, that no one tells you that at any given moment, someone can take a sound snippet and place it wherever they want, and now you are just the scum of the earth.
Yep. This is true.
I mean, we do enough of that already. But yeah,
here we are.
You're not wrong.
It's almost like somebody could go, theoretically, metaphorically.
I think we need to move on
and pull a Bill Burr segment.
Nope. Actually, that was fucking hilarious.
Guys, you can hear that on the Mandalorian podcast that we did. It's a Patreon only episode. It's a really great one. Cable's on there for that too. We talk about how Bill Burr is a great comedian. Paper Tiger is his newest stand-up. Go check it out.
Yeah. So again, guys, that is at patreon.com/superherohomies, or you could also just Google Patreon Superhero Homies.
If there's any episode that's worth paying for the patronage, it is absolutely that one. It's not because I'm on it. It's because Q has Bill Burr fan fiction for a good portion of the episode.
That is not the case.
I can't disagree with you, buddy.
I can delete this shit right here.
It's saved on my phone. I have it.
We reload everything through your phone.
Yeah.
Shit, I got it on my phone too. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But hey, we digress.
Sending that shit to the Library of Congress to be archived.
Wow.
Is there anything else in the spoiler field section you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Huntress being Ragnaroked.
Okay.
And I want to give specific examples.
Yes.
Please.
This
is fun.
My name's actually Huntress. That joke was okay the first time, and then for like the next 70 times, it was more cringe every time as it got more and more. It's like, are we going to take this character seriously or not? And the answer was no. We're not going to.
She was nothing more than twofold. You know, she had her badassery side and then the joke.
Yeah, I mean, her backstory was amazing, and then she never came off as that character from that backstory.
No.
And I hated that.
She just came off as, you know, nothing wrong with being the shy person in the group, but your shyness has only led to this, you know, shallow character, you know? Again, like you said earlier, only a caricature. Also, I gotta say this too, because I feel like I wasn't the only one since I sat beside the both of you gents. I didn't laugh at, like, any of the fucking jokes in this movie. They were not funny, which is bad, because in the preview I was talking about, like, I'm worried about the movie, but I feel like I'm gonna go in there and have a great fucking time just laughing out loud. I didn't laugh at a single one of the jokes they wanted to land, and the only moments I laughed was when they did something atrocious, when they did something eye-rolling, and I was like, holy fuck, we're actually doing this. Like when they played Barracuda, right, when the female fight scene, like, fuck me. Right?
The most cringeworthy moment in the whole film,
please,
is Harley standing there and she's giving her exposition-filled "we gotta work together" speech.
Oh gosh,
and Montoya literally goes, "Work with you? Never," in that like cop voice. And then one sentence later, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Exactly.
I looked over at Kevin and I was like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." And that's the only time he laughed.
Exactly. That's when I laughed, because it's like, fuck, man, you're right.
It was just, it was so cringe. It was just like
this movie's fucking script and writing, man. It didn't do anything original. It was not entertaining for me. I did not have a good time. I had
straight up did not have a good time.
I did not have a good time.
Straight up not having a good time.
But I mean, it was just a very mediocre movie, dude. Again,
and I think that's the difference here. That's where I'm at. I think it's mediocre.
Right.
But no. I just called it that too, though. Where it's like, no, this is mediocre, so fuck this.
Yeah. It sounded like from everything previous that you guys were like, this is fucking god awful trash shit of the earth. And I was like, it's a mediocre film.
I mean, I gave it a 5.5.
I gave it a 6. I gave it something more forgiving than him.
Yeah, I gave it a 5.5. That's above a 5. I mean, you know.
I mean, a 5.5.
That's not the lowest score I've ever given anything either. You know, that's not a fuck you. That's a what were you doing with my time? You know, I'm disappointed in you is what that is. Yeah.
I mean, I would rather watch any other DC film rather than this movie. And I have put Man of Steel on to cure my insomnia before. So, I mean, I'm just saying this is not the film I'm going to sit down and go watch because, I mean, I didn't laugh. I you know, we talked off mic beforehand, and I was like, you know, talking about, you know, I'm cautiously optimistic about this.
We said that on the ride up there.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm prepared to be to be the positive voice here.
Yeah.
No,
that was fucking wrong.
That was a fucking lie.
But I went into it wanting to love it. And,
no, same here, dude. I went into thinking, this is gonna be a hilarious, fun time, and I didn't laugh, Quentin.
But I will give it a good, nice plus. I was sitting there thinking right before she did the canary cry, I was like, if she doesn't do the fucking canary cry in this movie,
I was happy about that. We didn't talk about that.
I'm gonna lose my shit. And then when she did it, it was fucking Dragon Ball Z level epic. And then I actually even liked the Harley skating through it. You know, that was like the only time that I really liked the roller derby bullshit.
No, I was about to say the roller derby thing was bullshit. Yeah. First off, when did you get skates? And I don't care if you made a joke about it in the middle of your movie. That doesn't excuse the problem.
Yeah, no, that was also strange.
Well, that goes with that cosplay set. It's all sold as one piece.
I don't know. That just makes me sad. I feel insulted.
Yeah.
The whole scene with Huntress and her on the motorcycle was god awful. Because it's like they're getting away, and so Huntress decides to roll up and stop and let you water ski behind her on the motorcycle.
Right.
Rather than just go after them and, shoot them with her crossbow. And then she wrecks her motorcycle in order to launch you forward.
Right. If that doesn't scream priority and this script was not written for you in the least fucking bit, I don't know what else does. So, hey, Huntress, fuck you. Harley Quinn, where you at? Come on, get in front of the camera again. Let's stare at the audience awkwardly.
Yeah. I didn't feel like Huntress had, other than the backstory, which she's not in, not this actress. I did not think that I didn't think that they at any point during the film did the character justice. Yeah. I think they completely compromised the integrity of the character.
You know what else I'm starting to realize, guys? I might need to go watch Suicide Squad again because I'm wondering if I also just don't like Margot Robbie.
Maybe not.
Maybe. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting diagnosed with this, but I can't self-diagnose. I gotta go watch the movie and kind of have an interpretation for myself, like, oh fuck, I just don't.
I don't really like her in anything.
But
Wolf of Wall Street, nothing.
That's her best movie to me. Is Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street is a great movie, so
it is a great movie. Yeah, but that's her best movie to me.
Okay.
This new one she did with the shitty news anchors, Charlize.
What?
Yeah, Charlize Theron
bombing blondes. Fuck no, blonde something.
Yeah, I probably don't have any plans to see
3 blondes.
Yeah, no, never. But,
Mexican Armada.
Drop Dead, Bomb Drop Dead. What the fuck was it? I know what you're talking about, but
yeah,
it's something with about 3 blondes and dropping bombs.
Yeah, they're playing like the real life news people.
Right. I don't know. That didn't look like my type of movie either.
No, it's not.
There you go.
But
maybe we'll get a Gotham City Sirens movie with just Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Barbara in it, and it won't have anybody. It won't know Harley at all. But I'm not holding my breath for that one.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this whole her being a producer was in her contract. Because I can't imagine how else you get that as an actor for a movie that you're in, unless it's in your contract. But that is hardly ever a good thing. Like, I mean, not in an ensemble movie. It never works.
Okay. I was about to say, in that case, no, I wouldn't do that. I mean, another example I can think of that's the pure opposite. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson were both producers for True Detective on seasons 1 and 3, and that was pretty dope. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they were invested in making the product good and not just spotlight stealing.
Yeah.
I mean, Matthew McConaughey spent 90% of that show sitting at a table drinking beer.
Yeah.
And playing with
and monologuing.
Right.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean,
it was so great.
It was so good. Amazing. I could watch 100 more episodes of that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what the problem with humanity is? I don't remember that.
That was good. That was a good impression.
Thank you. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Russ.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a good impression of Woody Harrelson's character in that movie. But this is my problem with DC, right?
Please.
They refuse to earn it when it comes to the DC universe in live action. They did Batman versus Superman, and I've said this before, that needs to be like the 20th movie in your cinematic universe, not the second one.
Yes.
You need a long you need this long established history, I feel like, of seeing who Clark is, seeing who Bruce is, seeing them work together, seeing their friendship, and then something causes that schism, and that way when they do fight, it has that gravity to it.
So essentially what they did with Cap and Iron Man.
Yes. Or what Dark Knight Returns is, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I've said before that I feel like, Zack Snyder definitely missed all the points of that graphic novel if he actually read it. And it's the same way with this, is you need, to me, I think you need to see Huntress as a serious Batman antagonist, or at least anti-hero, and then you need to see her go into this group. Same thing with Black Canary, same thing, I mean...
Well, I mean, I don't know, like, any Birds of Prey fans walking into this movie thinking it's going to be about them when, once again, there's no Barbara. I mean, I don't know how serious as a Birds of Prey product they can take this.
Their name's on it.
Right.
But if,
I mean, that'd be enough for me to be like, oh, it's a Birds of Prey movie.
I mean, but if I'm a Birds of Prey fan, I'm like, cool, I get to see Bat. Oh, she's not in it. So...
I mean, but that's also because you know better there, you know, where it's like, oh, there could be also the light fan who knows Birds of Prey by name and maybe read a couple of things here and there, but not extensively. And I mean,
maybe
if
they
it's
got
advertised as Coke, then why does it taste like Coke Zero?
Maybe they got a hold of the what was the canceled USA TV show from like the 90s or whatever.
Oh, the Birds of Prey TV show.
Oh, wow.
That was more canonically correct than this movie.
Wow.
Here we are. Yeah, here we are. Yeah. So, what would you guys? I guess I'll ask you guys this, and then we'll wrap up. What would you guys do for a sequel? Because they do plan on doing a sequel to this movie.
Not do it.
Yeah. I will be a little more optimistic than that. I would definitely, and you know, I would like to see. So depending on when they do the sequel, maybe we can get this Batman movie out there, and maybe they can establish a Barbara in that movie. Maybe we can get like an after credit scene of like, you know, her like Alfred making her a suit or something, you know, and then see her introduced, take Montoya out, put her in, and then let's get some actual screen time and character growth on Black Canary. Same thing with Huntress. Maybe, you know, put them somewhere else in some of these other movies that you're coming out with. Put them in the damn Flashpoint movie. You know, use them there. Canary can do just about anything.
Yeah.
You know, she can, you know, she could be in Shazam or something, you know, cameo if anything else.
Oh, by the way, did anyone catch the slight Green Arrow nod we got?
Actually, I was just about to say that we didn't get one. So what's the one that you caught? Because I missed
it was it wasn't anything by name. It was only pure. It was just the lightest of things. It was when Harley was drunk, going on to Black Canary about her breakup, and Harley said something along the lines of and alluding to that, you know, you don't know how bad breakups are, and then Canary said something alluded to, oh yes, the fuck I do. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Poor Oliver.
Yeah.
But no, I
could have used a little bit more. You know, I feel like they gave me peanut butter jelly sandwich where the jelly was just like one wisp on. You know, you got to get some of that shit in there. But
and I mean, it's not like, I mean, Marvel doesn't even have the rights to Namor, and they gave us more of a nod out of nowhere in Endgame. I was like, you guys have the rights to all your fucking characters.
Right.
I mean, throw references out left and right, you know?
Because there was also, I mean, they mentioned Batman, but like, maybe they'd explain why we don't see him.
Because Ace Chemicals blew the fuck up. I don't know what Batman's up to that night, but that's pretty fucking important. That takes priority. I mean, there's no reaction.
Yeah, like
as far as
I don't need to see Batman or Joker in this movie, but I maybe feel like we do need some explanations as to why they're not here.
Right.
Like, where are they? You can even tell me Joker's locked up in Arkham.
I would honestly be okay with if they're gonna do a sequel. They'll probably never do this, but I would love to see a movie that like primarily focuses on the Birds of Prey, including Harley, and maybe they are actually trying to kill Joker, and he's the antagonist, and then Batman is also in it, and Batman is trying to apprehend Joker, but like keep them from killing him. That would be a good plot to me.
You want Assault on Arkham?
Yes, I do.
Actually, yeah, that's what that sounded like to me. Yeah,
that's what I wanted when Suicide Squad first came out.
That's what I said. The movie we should have got. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know which big head in DC decides what gets and what doesn't get to be made, because there's got to be a voice there that isn't listening to the people.
It's me, Kevin. It was me
You're
all
doing
along.
a shit job.
Hey, I'm trying my best.
It's not good. Give someone else the reign.
It's the giant spider, man. I'm telling you. I reference this all the time. The Superman Lives.
Oh, the giant mechanical. Oh, well, he made his appearance in Wild Wild West.
Right, but I'm saying it's that guy.
Yeah. Oh no, is it really that same guy?
Yeah, he still works at Warner.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
I forgot about that entirely. That was a childhood memory blown open.
Yeah. So,
but it's like,
guys. hopefully, like some of these rumors are true, and they are doing the Justice League Dark Universe.
I mean, that's better.
With I'm drawing a blank. J.J. Abrams heading it. Hopefully, that does come to fruition. That would be phenomenal.
My number one requirement is that they fucking keep Matt Ryan's Constantine.
He's great.
Yeah, I was about to say he's
probably
good.
Won't though. Which
no, they probably won't. They'll recast him. I mean, it's not that hard to listen to the audience members and to kind of take in what is generally like a good idea there, you know, where I feel like we don't get that from the Warner Brothers studio. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what you attribute that to. I don't know if there's just like a voice that says, no, I know better and I'm going to choose, and he just decides, or they decide, I don't know, whomever, if they just decide to tune out the rest of those other voices kind of singing in a chorus. No, wait, let's do this instead, let's do that instead, let's push this further. I don't know. That's just me kind of just sincerely venting about it, because there seems to be that problem in Warner Brothers Studios where they're not listening to the fans, to people like us who are just like, wait, this would be really cool. Oh, that's a really good idea too. That wouldn't be the most impossible thing to pull off, because we don't know how truly difficult it is just from our side of the tape. But am I alone in this assumption where it's like, wait a minute, who's not listening to us?
No, I think it's I think there's a lack of vision. I think they're grasping.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
I think they're grasping at what's popular at that moment in time. And the problem with that is it takes 2 years to put a movie out.
Mm-hmm. But you know what the problem with that is? That sings a song of they don't know.
Right.
If they have to put their ear to the ground and think, oh, this is what I heard in this particular month, in this moment, let's make a movie about this, then you don't know. You need your own Kevin Feige in charge of this shit, because whomever that is, they're bad at it.
Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I always can make a Star Wars reference about anything. The prequels, okay. love them or hate them, George Lucas had a vision. He had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and he told that story, and that story made sense. 7, 8, and 9, no vision, no direction. Everybody just kind of did fuck all with whatever they want. No plan. And you see how that turned out. It was vastly, vastly worse. And it's the same thing here, I think, with, they go, well, people really like Jason Momoa. Let's fucking cast him as Aquaman. And it was a great choice. But now they're like, oh, well, that made $1 billion. So fuck yeah, Aquaman. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, well, the Superman shit ain't working, so let's just not use Superman.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that currently 2/3 of your Trinity is off the table is atrocious.
Right.
I mean, thank goodness Wonder Woman is still holding down the fort. Hopefully 84 is a phenomenon. 84 for me needs to be the best movie in the DCEU.
It needs to win a Soldier.
It needs to at this point, because it's going to be the defibrillator that they need in this shit, dude.
I mean, like, I think up until this movie they were on an upward trend. I thought that Shazam was a nice step in the right direction. Even Aquaman had some fun moments. Joker, of course, is Joker.
But again, I'm gonna bitch about this real quick. Yeah. Another issue that they have is their casting, because some of their choices are obnoxious is the right word, because it's like, first off, you chose Jesse fucking Eisenberg
Yeah.
over a possible Bryan Cranston, who sung the song of "Hey, I'd love to do this," you know. Also, Kristen Wiig is still an interesting choice. I'm not going to dog it yet because that I haven't seen the product, so I have no idea how she's going to be as the villain for Wonder Woman 84. But
they've been very finicky, like as far as showing her in the trailers.
Which worries me a little bit, frankly, but it's not time for that preview yet.
I am excited
that
me too. I am excited that they're showing a lot of Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
Super underrated actor, super underrated villain.
Yeah.
This is not that podcast though.
I don't know if you can say Pedro Pascal is underrated now.
Now,
was
maybe
about to
not
say,
now.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe now. He had on a helmet almost the entire time.
They know who he is.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
The dedicated will know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's in the second most popular TV show period right now. So
Yeah, but I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, guys, and I kind of like took
No,
the
I mean
wheel,
you get. I mean, maybe we'll make into a future episode like the state of DCEU Part 2 or something.
that would be interesting. Yeah,
Seeing the way we know now, I guess we'll probably have to wait till after their next big movie, which would be Wonder Woman.
yeah.
But as far as this movie goes, like moving forward, this movie is what it is.
It happened.
It happened.
And I already gave you my answer for my expectations for a sequel, right?
You said no.
Yep, that's my answer. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Just making sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a little bit more optimistic, or I guess open-minded. Like for a future sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, like I'm actually anticipating Captain Marvel 2, so that would show my level of optimism with these superhero movies.
I mean, and I applaud you for that, and I wish I had that. Unfortunately,
it's mostly made of string and hope.
it's like your cell phone, but you only have tin cans in the string, and it's like, Quentin, buddy, come on.
I'm more hopeful for both of those movies than I am that New Mutants will come out.
Now that's saying
you know what?
something.
You know what? If New Mutants ends up being the best movie of the year, I want us all three to reconvene at the end of the year.
We gotta clap for that shit literally at that point. Just in the theater, it's like bravo. And I don't know where I lost my hope, guys. It happened somewhere down the road.
Probably in 2018 when it was supposed to come out.
No, not just for New Mutants. I mean
okay.
in general. When it came to like, your first movie came out. Oh, it was fucked up bad. I don't know where my hope died out on stuff like that, but somehow it did. And hopefully I am wrong. You know, and these sequels of Captain Marvel 2 or Birds of Prey, the second coming or whatever.
Love and Thunder.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, stuff like that. Hopefully they will blow me out of the water because I would I would greatly appreciate being wrong on those.
I'm not going to try to therapize you, but I feel like your trauma started with Ragnarok.
Probably, which is unfortunate because that was our third episode.
Yeah,
ever.
like that's when the podcast started.
That is when we started because we did Thor, we did Hulk, we did Ragnarok, and the whole episode.
You know,
it was a fun movie.
It was funny because, like, for our history lesson, homies, for our very first episode when we did Thor, we talked about the Ragnarok storyline. Some I think Walt Simonson did that one, and then for the Hulk episode, which is our second episode, we talked a little bit about the Planet Hulk arc and how we're so excited about the incorporation of that. And then we got to our third podcast, and it nearly destroyed us.
Maybe you're right, Caleb. Maybe you're right. Dadgummit.
That whole episode was so passive aggressive because it was just like
we didn't know what to do.
It was like
we didn't know what to do.
We were just like, how do we? Oh fuck.
It was like Kevin Feige was sitting across from you guys, smoking a cigarette with a gun, just like this, and you guys are like, "Yeah, Ragnarok was it was really fun. We liked it.
Yeah, it was
right.
Yeah.
And then when he finally left and took the gun with him, we were just like, "Okay, fuck this."
Yeah, he's gone.
And I wept.
Yep.
But no, I guess just really quick for a potential sequel. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do really love the idea of like an Assault on Arkham style movie.
That I would accept.
Yeah,
hard.
I was actually still kind of loosely. I know we're not gonna get it for the Suicide Squad, but for some reason I'm way more hopeful with that movie than most DCEU products moving forward. I think that James Gunn's gonna nail it out the park with that one. But as far as Birds of Prey 2 goes, I would say this. they don't have to bring back Cassandra Cain. Like this version of the character really doesn't move anything forward, and she won't serve a purpose.
I will say this: unfortunately, they set themselves up to where that's an option. Of course, in most general cases, they would want to do so. I guess not with Ian McGregor, but one of the last lines that we hear in the movie is, and the kid or Cassandra or whatever, I kept her on as my apprentice.
Yeah,
I'm worried for what that sings for the future, but here we are.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm not really stoked about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like for a sequel, we need Batgirl. I mean, there's just no way around it at this point. I mean,
at
don't
that
get me
point,
wrong.
I would have regretted Folded if we actually get an announcement that Batgirl is going to be in the movie. I would have hope, and I would have realized, I folded too soon. I should have held onto the handle longer.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hope that I can't stress this enough that my theory crafting. This is my theory crafting. I can't stress enough that if this movie really did come down to Margot Robbie saying this is really what I want, which fuck, there's interviews out there, then I don't really know what we can do for the future. All I can do is hope for a top tier stellar villain. I doubt it'd be the Joker, but I don't know who we'd get in that position. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Here we are.
Talia, perhaps.
Talia would be amazing. Yeah. Especially when they keep with the all women role. I also think that man, I really wish they didn't kill all. Like I think also who'd be fun. Like if two people, one the Penguin. They put the Penguin in there, and it can be maybe Harley, who has loose associations with the bird. She knocks over Penguin, steals some of his shit or whatever. Penguin, in a fit of rage and sick of her shit, hires a mercenary. That mercenary being Deathstroke, and then the entire movie can be them something similar to what we got here, which I kind of think the sequel's going to be anyway. But instead, you have the fucking Terminator coming after them. I think if you have Deathstroke going up against them, like, it gives more brevity to this movie. It gives Joe M something to do. I can never pronounce the man's last name. I just really want to fucking see Deathstroke kick some more ass. So.
He can kill Montoya in the first 10 minutes.
That he actually could. I mean, because she's another one who just really doesn't need to be. She doesn't need to be there. To be honest. But yeah, that's kind of my idle thoughts and hopes on this one, guys. We have anything else on this?
Nah, man, I sung my song. I'm good. I'm fit.
I'm good.
It was a good song, gentlemen. It's a good song.
Good shit, my lad.
All right. You guys have any other concerns? Anything you want to get off your chest? Any confessions?
I still didn't like the music.
Okay, let me rephrase. Anything we didn't know? Any?
It was a second Tuesday. I believe it was in February, not.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, scratch that. Yeah, I think we're just gonna wrap up here, guys.
Yep.
So for those of you who are listening, probably in a couple of hours, you'll be hearing us talk about Harley Quinn some more on the Harley Quinn animated series.
Yeah.
It'll be episode 11, I believe, we'll be covering. So looking forward to that. So if you guys haven't got enough Harley yet, you're gonna get some more tomorrow, and then probably hear a little bit of leftover Harley Quinn from this movie leaking over.
Maybe.
But that is all for now, my friends. So if you guys have any other questions, comments, gifts, threats, food supplies, or suggestions for future DC movies, hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or any of our social media outlets. We are always active and live.
Hell yeah. And of course, guys, last but not least, you always know we always sing the song of the Patreon page. Feel free to hit it up. You can see a lot of cool shit that we have there for sure. $1 gets you most things, $3 gets you everything.
Okay, brother, thank you again for accompanying us on this journey last minute.
Always glad to be on.
Yes, this was fantastic. I thought maybe more entertaining than the movie. I'd say so.
Yeah, well, hell yeah.
But that's all we got for now. So until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
As always, I am Superhero Homie Kevin.
And as occasionally, I am Superhero Homie Caleb.